What's going on YouTube? Brian Matthews here again with Southern Pine Outdoors, and today's video is going to be all about the 2019 Can-Am Commander 800. So I've had this vehicle going on UTV, I should say, going on about 6 months, just right at the 6-month mark, and have loved the vehicle, the UTV, all in all. Basically, it's behind me. Sorry you can't see it. You can see the roof there. But like I say, have used it on the property here for the last month and a half or so. Done some trail riding with it. Really a great all-around utility vehicle, and that's what I was looking for. Now I know a lot of guys are into those Razors and the speed and the Mavericks of those dune buggy style UTVs, and then you have the whole other side of things where people are geared more towards the Kubotas and maybe even the John Deere Gators and the Polaris Rangers, where it's geared more towards sitting upright and utilizing the utility side of things. And that's where I thought Can-Am with the Commander really shone through that cross between. I know you see some other YouTube videos out there comparing the Polaris General with the Can-Am Commander. That would probably be its closest competitor as far as that niche market of somebody that does utility work on the side, but also wants the versatility and the comfortability of the play as well. So like I say, just wanted to introduce the video. If you like these kind of videos, as always, please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe to our channel. If you are brand new to the channel, we'd love to have you here. We appreciate everyone that's stuck around, and like I say, we're just trying to build a community out there for everybody that enjoys the outdoors and enjoys hunting, fishing, working in the outdoors, working in the yard, working on a piece of property that can be managed for future developments for deer and wildlife and things like that. So like I say, if you like these kind of videos, like and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you. So now to get into the nuts and bolts of the Can-Am Commander 2019, and let's get started. So as you can see, this is my 2019 Can-Am Commander 800R with the DPS, which is the direct power steering that acronym stands for, that Can-Am is known for. A lot of companies out there do have different types of power steering options available for their UTVs and side-by-sides. I would highly recommend buying a UTV with that option at a minimum. Can-Am does have a lower end model that is just the 800 or without the DPS, and it comes in a solid white color. I believe that's the only option you can get, and this one comes in the green, which is the only option you can get. It's a little bit cheaper with the other model. It comes with the steel wheels instead of these upgraded steel wheels, or I'm not even sure if they're aluminum. But like I say, we're here to look at what I've got, what I use it for, and obviously you can see I've got a lot of stuff in here. One of the first things that I did as far as upgrades was not really an upgrade. I took away that mesh door that runs across here. The reason I did that is because I didn't like having to undo it and do it and undo it and do it every time I wanted to get in and out of the vehicle. Now, I don't do a lot of trail riding. I don't do a lot of high-speed stuff. The fastest I'll probably ever go on this thing is probably around 25, 30 miles an hour. It'll get up to 60, 65 if you're lucky going downhill. But like I say, I don't ever foresee myself going that fast, even on some trail rides and things like that. The other thing that I did as far as upgrades was the winch here. This is just a KFI winch that was added aftermarket type deal that we wanted for around the property to be able to obviously winch things. Mainly I was using it to pull up an old barbed wire fence with fence posts and things like that that were stuck in the ground, and it worked amazingly for that option or for that purpose. The other thing that you're going to want to have are some decent mirrors. I picked this up. This is the I don't even remember, the Chupacabras from Amazon. I think they were maybe 25, 35, 40 bucks. Best money spent on a side-by-side. To be able to see behind you, backing up and things like that, especially if you have a helmet on, it's extremely hard to turn your head and look behind you. So, like I say, just wanted to kind of point that out there as well, to have those mirrors on your side-by-side. The other thing that kind of helps out getting in and out are these grab handles right here. Now these are the $10 versions that you can get off Cabela's, Amazon. I'm sure Bass Pro Shop has them as well, to be able to strap onto the side. Some of them mount up here, and obviously because of the way my roof is designed, I can't do that. So I just put them down here, and it allows me to grab it if I just wanted to swing in real quick, kind of like a pickup truck or something. Little quick tip. For those that have one of these, you know the first thing that this thing's going to aggravate you about is this daggum seatbelt. I'm not a big fan of, I'm a big fan of safety. I promise you, I am. But when you're getting in and out of this thing around the property, around your property, or in the yard or something like that, and you're using it like I do as a utility vehicle, the last thing you want to do is plug that stupid key in and the thing aggravates you because it's saying seatbelt's not plugged in, or you need to activate your seatbelt, whatever the case may be. So obviously what I did, instead of buying a little mod or little thing to stick down in the seatbelt clip, I actually just ran the seatbelt behind the seat, and the little clip part of the seatbelt will actually go back behind the seat, and so it makes it really convenient for the driver, at least, to get in and out of it. Now, I don't think the passenger seat has a sensor like the driver's seat does. So, you know, my wife, she likes to have that seatbelt there anyways, and she will strap it on every time she gets in, because I guess she doesn't know exactly what my foot's going to wind up doing. The bed itself, I've been plumb impressed with. Sorry, I've got so much junk in the back of it. We've been trying to clean up and do a lot of other things around the house and around the property and everything. It holds a significant amount of weight. I think collectively in the tailgate here, you can put up to 400 pounds. I believe you can hold an additional, I don't know, 200 pounds, I think. I might be completely wrong on this, but I'll check and put it in the description. And then as far as towing with the hitch, you can tow up to 1,200 pounds. So this hitch that I've got is off of Amazon as well. It is that black bore hitch. The only thing I have negative about this particular hitch and the way Can-Am has designed everything for this back end here is that, as you can tell, there's not enough clearance to actually get a tongue of a trailer in there and latch the lever. If the lever of the trailer wasn't on there, as far as latching it down, you could actually get it in there. But The other thing is you've got to lower your trailer all the way to the ground to be able to get that hitch on there. So what I would recommend doing is getting an extension, one with a longer drawbar on it that sticks out a little bit further, and then one that's got a rise in it, or actually a fall in it, and then flip it over. I believe there's a video by Fisher ATV out there that tells you all about that and those kind of quirks with a UTV versus a full-size pickup truck or a regular pickup truck, being able to hook up a trailer and everything. The other thing that I like about this this particular hitch, and I'll hush about it, the fact that you've got the 2-inch ball here, and then you've got the ATV pin hole here. The other thing is obviously this bar here allows me, or gives me, an option to hook up a tow rope or chain of some sort around that, and then go back to whatever I'm looking at or trying to pull out, or possibly whatever's trying to pull me out. I've heard negative reports on hooking anything up to here, like ratchet straps, for even tying down on your trailer, because these bars right here are not the thickest pieces of material, and they will actually snap. So before I got this hitch, I would actually go up and under this around the frame here and attach it there, to be able to make that happen a little bit better. The only other mod that I've made, I say mod, the only other aftermarket product that I've added to this Can-Am Commander is the roof here. Now this roof was I don't want to say I fell into it, but was visiting some family in the lower part of the state of South Carolina down in Florence, and decided to take a look at this guy's shop, and I don't remember the name of the shop, but I will try and remember in the video editing to put that in the description if he has a website. But walked in there and said, hey, I'd like to look at what you got for a Can-Am roof for a Commander 800. The only negative to a lot of these parts and things like that, I'm a very visual person, and you can't find where people have actually installed them and go look at it. Unless you know somebody that's got one just like it, it's going to be hard to actually visibly see it before you put it on. This guy actually had this laying in the shop. Believe he had it on a Maverick, and the guy didn't want it, had already bought it as far as getting it to his shop. They put it on, and the guy didn't want it and went a different route. But this is a Pro Box Rocks roof. It has the built-in light bar in the front that can be adjusted just by loosening some screws, and you can tilt it. It's got some little nuts up in here on the sides that you loosen, and then you can tilt this whole thing up and down as you desire. It's a combination of spots and floods, as you can see with the lines and the clear. So that's real nice to have the spot and flood combination to be able to see, obviously at night, to work that. So the way it clamps on to the roof is basically you've got these little rings that go around and clamp around, and then you bolt it to the roof, actually through the roof. So this thing is not going anywhere. He actually said that a guy put one on his personal one and rolled it, and the roof was basically the only thing that didn't get messed up or damaged. The other thing that I like about it is it's got the rear light to it as well. If I can find my hand, there it is. So obviously if you're backing up or anything like that, you can see behind you, but if you're also working at night, you can work behind you in the tailgate here, and that's where I kind of angled it down, the light down, you can kind of see to where it would shine in the bed so that I could work out of the bed. I'm going to call this a plug and play style roof, which is what I also loved about it. I'm no professional electrician by any means, and I'm too OCD to try to do something like that on my own, or try to jump into something like that, like wiring this winch that's on the front of this. I took it to the dealership and I said, hey, put it on for me. I don't want to take the aggravation of 3 or 4 hours trying to figure out how to do this when I know it's going to take y'all 45 minutes to put the darn thing on. So this roof, like I say, has a plug and play style thing where you just screw this into the roof as far as your harness, your wire harness, and you run it down. Obviously, I just ran mine on the outside of the piping here of the roll cage and zip tied it wherever I could, and then basically just ran it down back behind the seat here, up under the seat, and it comes back out right through here. And then I used what I call a little the little flexible pipe type stuff that clamps on for heating and air units and things like that. A lot of people use them for like holding ductwork and things like that. I just took a piece of it, sheared it off, used the hole that was existing. It fit perfect for those bolts. And then all you do is run your black to your ground. Right here, the blue wire is not needed, and then the red there is for your hot. So underneath here, it's got 4 speakers, 2 underneath the driver, and then 2 underneath the passenger that you see. And then in the center here, it's got your volume control for when you've got it plugged in auxiliary. It does do Bluetooth. And then it's got the power button. And you can see that the lights actually, or the speakers actually light up. And there's an app that you can use to make the speakers dance to the music and things like that. And then you've got, so it's a party machine too now. You've got your 2 rocker switches for your lights, and that one's for the back, that one's for the front. So you can see a little bit how bright it is. Obviously I've got the lights on, so it's a little bit hard to see. And then here's the rear one. I know you're not going to be able to see it much right now, but so yeah, best investment as far as protection, being able to drive in the sun, obviously from the rain and the weather and things like that. And then it also gave me the features of the light and everything. I quoted everything of a Can-Am version of this, and you're probably looking at around $2,000 for all of that. And I think I paid, I want to say around $1,200 for all of this. I paid the guy, he gave me a price that I just couldn't pass up. And we actually loaded it into my wife's car and hauled it back to Spartanburg. The only negative I've had so far with this this Can-Am, I say negative experience. The Can-Am Commander, the side-by-side, the UTV, whatever the case may be, before we bought this property here, we were having to keep it in storage. And obviously it stayed outside on the trailer that you see behind me, covered up all the time. In that process, we kept it over the winter. Obviously we bought it 6 months ago, so we bought it at the start of winter, and it stayed out there all winter. So started using it at the end of deer season to just kind of run some trails and things like that. And one day I went out there to try to crank it up, and it just wouldn't crank. And so obviously I knew dead battery. I was like, well, it's because stupid me didn't disconnect the negative. So I finally got it jumped off, and then in that process started disconnecting that negative underneath this. It's actually underneath where we just saw for the wiring. And started doing that process, unhooking the negative every time I was going to leave it in storage, or knew that I was going to leave it for a long period of time without running it. So as we got the property and brought it over here, was taking it across the property, and then all of a sudden it just decided to go into what they call limp home mode. Limp home mode basically means that it slows it down to where you can only go so many miles per hour, and then eventually if you let off the accelerator, it kind of just shuts itself off. You've got to let it basically turn off, shut down completely, and then turn it back on and hope that it doesn't go back into limp home mode before you get home. Luckily, I'm around the property here, and I don't, you know, the property isn't that tremendously big. So I was able to get it back to the shop. I took a look at it and figured out that you could run some codes and things like that and figure out exactly why it was tripping. Now, the codes that I got were pertaining to what they were calling cylinder misfires, and I'm not 100% sure how these codes got thrown, but because nothing was out of the norm. It all sounded the same. It never heard anything sputter. It just happened. So I immediately, obviously, loaded it up, took it to the dealership, and the dealership basically said, because of the battery being low and so low, that that battery was tripping the sensor somehow, or tripping it to cause it to give you those errors. And so what they did is they changed the battery out, and in the process, obviously, I did some other routine maintenance as far as changing the oil, since they already had it there and already had it apart. To put that winch in, I just said, shoot, you might as well do the whole thing for me, and that way I don't have to worry about it for another 50 hours or whatever the case may be. I've only got, I don't even know how many hours I've got on this thing. So you can see there's the performance key symbology. Obviously, I got full tank of gas, which is always good to have. So odometer is 73, 332. I don't know how accurate that is. So total hours is 23 hours and 53 minutes. So see, I'm not even halfway meeting the owner's manual as far as needing an oil change, the first oil change. But I went ahead and did it anyways, just because they had it in stock. So other than that, obviously you can see I've got this Can-Am slam full of trash bags, a rake, my little walkie-talkie so that the wife can get in touch with me, pruning shears, a bag of seed and fertilizer, gas can, broom, trash. I mean, and I've got my tow straps and everything in this lower unit here with a tarp. Not sure why I've got the tarp in there, but like I say, it's been a great machine all in all. If there's something specific that you want me to go into more details of, maybe like the performance, how I feel like it operates, I'd be glad to do that, show you that, tell you about that. Just leave us a comment down below and I can make that video real quick for you guys and get it posted. But the 800R Can-Am Commander is more than enough of a utility vehicle around your property if you've got maybe 10, 15, 20 acres that you're taking care of that is mostly wooded. The only other thing that I am looking towards getting, they make an implement for a category 0 3-point hitch, like a tractor, that hooks into the back of your 2-inch receiver. I'm looking at getting one of those to be able to run some implements like a landscape rake, a box scrape, and a few other things. I currently have this contraption over here, which is a swisher, brush mower type deal, rough cut mower for the field. Since I don't have a tractor and don't want to spend the money on a tractor right now, or can't spend the money on a tractor right now because we just bought this place, trying to utilize this UTV as much as I possibly can. So, like I say, it has been a huge blessing to have this. Never thought I'd ever use it like I do. Had always planned on wanting to use it like this, but like I say, it's been a great tool, asset to the property to be able to have, to not only just do yard work, but have a little bit of fun, get out of the house, and enjoy your property that you work so hard for day in and day out. So like I say, if you have any comments, questions, please leave those down below. Like I say, if I need to make another video to try to explain something a little bit better, I'd be more than happy to do that. We just want to, like I say, I just want to try to be as transparent with you as a viewer as possible with the information that I give you, and make sure I give you the accurate information that you deserve. So like I say, if you have anything that you want to say on the channel, please feel free to do so. If you would like to leave a comment, do that as well. Like and subscribe to our videos, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.